In this tutorial series, we will be making the zombie survival shooter game inside of Unity. This is the 6th part of the tutorial series in which we will learn how to make the enemy damage system so that when we hit the enemy on the body, he will, after some certain damage, he will die. But if we hit the enemy on the head, if it will be the headshot, he will die immediately. So in the end of the video, we will be able to make this. So this is where we left our previous tutorial series. So this is what we made in the last 5 parts of the tutorial series. In the first part, we learned how to make the movement, running, walking, and also the camera system. Then we learned how to make the vaulting system, kind of like this one. Then we learned how to make the aiming system, and then finally we learned how to make the shoot the enemy, kind of like this. And we also have the animation, and then we also made the reloading system and ammunition system, so that when we reload, and there we go, now we have 60 bullets, we can shoot, and there is a muzzle flash and all that stuff. So this is what we made in the previous videos. So if you have missed those previous videos, make sure you see them. There will be a card on the top right corner of the screen right now. You can click that and see the whole playlist, or there will be a link in the description box below. So for the enemy damage system, what we need to do is we need to have some enemy. This is the enemy that we used in the previous video. We have a simple zombie that has a simple animator controller that has an idle animation which looks something like this. And then he has a falling back, kind of like a headshot death kind of thing. So if you don't know where to get these animations, you can simply go to mixamo.com and find those animations over there and download them and simply imported them inside of Unity. This is how we did it in the previous videos. So all of this is covered in the previous video. We have checked mark and looped and everything and all that. So good. So for the enemy damage system, we of course need 2 distant colliders. One will be for the body, one will be for the head. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and decrease the height of this guy and move it down a little bit so that it is only for the only for the body, just like that. Maybe a little more. Good. And then I'm going to go inside the zombie, and there you will find the head. So you have to go to the hips. In the hips you will find spine 1, spine 2, then neck, and inside the neck you will find the head. And in the head you have to say capsule collider and make it for the head. So move it a little up, and this will be for the head. So this is the body, this is the head. Good. So the next thing that you need to do is you need to assign the tags for the head and the body. In order to do that, you have to go to the actual zombie and say add tag, and you will add tag, and you have to just say +sign and name the tag. In my case, I added 2 tags. One is the head and one is the body. You have to go to the zombie. This will be for the body because this capsule collider represents the body, so you have to say body, and then you have to go to the head, and for the head you have to say, of course, head tag. So once that is done, you can actually move on to the actual thing. So if I go to the player and go to the fire FSM. Now if you don't know what this whole thing is, then it means you haven't seen the previous videos, the whole 5 parts of the tutorial series, because otherwise you should have known what this is. This basically is Playmaker. Playmaker is a really cool asset that helps you make games without writing a single line of code. Everything that you just saw over here is made without writing a single line of code, only by this. Basically it is a flowchart state machine kind of a thing. So if you want to get it, you can buy it from Asset Store, or if you don't want to buy it, you can simply get it for free. The link will be in the description box below. I personally will provide it to you guys so that you can use it, and then later on you can buy it. So I recommend you guys to buy it because this is a really cool asset that helps lots of developers. Alright, so again, if you haven't seen the previous videos, make sure you click the link in the description box below and see the previous parts first. It will be really easy to understand then. Okay, so for the firing we have another FSM, so in which we get mouse button down, and then when we click the mouse we come in this state, and we raycast. Basically it is a laser. We shoot a laser and we see which object we are hitting, and then on that decision, if it is the enemy, we're gonna kill the enemy and all that. So as you can see, if I play the game right now and see what happens, but the game would work properly because in the state 2 we basically are come over here, and we basically are comparing the tag that we hit the game object with the enemy, and we just removed the tag enemy into head and body. So I'm gonna just set it to body for now and see if everything works. So as you can see, we are in the state 1 right now. If I shoot anywhere, we go to state 2 and come back to state 1 because we are not hitting the actual enemy. But if I hit the enemy on the body, there we go, he dies, as you can see. All right, so this is working. But for the separate damage for the body and the head, we will have to add another states over here. So we will have to amend this whole FSM. So what we'll do is we will come over here and go to the raycast, and for now we are constantly getting the information which object we are hitting, and then we are constantly checking if it is the enemy or not, all right, in the same state. But this is not what we're gonna do right now. We're gonna go ahead and add another state over here, just over here. And if we hit any object with the laser, with the raycast, we're gonna go ahead and say new event, and we're gonna say check. We're gonna we're gonna check. Shit, I cannot see my keyboard. Okay, we're gonna check. All right, what we're gonna check is whether or not we are hitting the enemy, or if we are hitting the body or the head. All right, so we're gonna come over here and close this down, and I'm gonna cut this. So Control X, paste this over here, and instead of enemy, we're gonna check for head, copy and paste it, and this time we're gonna go ahead and check for the body. All right, so we have two states. Of course it is giving us error, for just leave it for now. And if we come over here, we're gonna Control X all of these and paste them over here, because we are checking in this state now. All right, we are not doing anything in that state, and we are, let's say, just copy these two and simply paste them over here. Okay, so basically whenever we shoot, we come over here, in which we cast a laser, and also we do the firing animation, and then also we enable the muzzle flash, and then we also are constantly checking whether or not we are releasing the mouse button. So when we release the mouse button, we're gonna simply come over here. Okay, and then if this laser hits anything, we're gonna simply come in this state. All right, so we are not doing anything like this, so I'm gonna delete the transition from here, and yeah, good. Now I'm coming here, and in the game object compare tag, if we hit the head, we are gonna go ahead and add a new event, or just simply kill. Right, if we hit the head, we're gonna simply kill, add a new state over here, good, and kill, bam. And for the, if we hit the body, we're gonna, instead of killing, we're gonna do some damage. So damage, there we go, and add a new state over here. So this is for the headshot, this is for the body, simple as that. All right, in the previous video, when we hit the enemy, we come in this state and we actually remove one from the emanation, which is this one. So we remove the one bullet and all that good stuff. Then we also, you know, activate the muzzle flash, and we kill the enemy by doing the death animation for the enemy. All right, but this is not what we're gonna do in this case. All right, so in this case, we want to actually kill the enemy or hit the enemy and do some damage to the enemy. So in order to do that, we're going to the zombie first and add a FSM in there first, and this will be for the damage and the killing and all that. So damage FSM for the zombie. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and say set float value, and we're gonna make a new float, new variable that will be health. All right, so there will be health variable for the zombie, and we're gonna set this to anything you want. In my case, I'm gonna set this to 5 for now. You can of course increase or decrease it later on. So we are setting the value of the health for the zombie, and we're gonna go ahead and come in this state then. So I'm gonna say next frame event, which means after executing this action, we're gonna go and say finished, simple as that. Okay, so after setting the value of the health, whenever the game starts, of course we want the zombie to have health, proper health. All right, so it will be 5, and I'm gonna come in this state, and then we're gonna say compare, float compare, and we're gonna compare the value of the health with 0. So if it is equal to 0, we're gonna say it means the enemy is killed, so killed, and make a new transition over here. And if it is less than 0, of course it means it is, oops, it is killed, the enemy is killed. And we're gonna do that every frame. Every frame basically means every second. All right, basically in normal words. So what we're doing is we are setting the value of the health of the enemy to 5, and then we're gonna come in here and we're gonna compare the value of the health with 0. If it is equal to 0 or less than 0, it means of course the enemy has died, and we're gonna come in here. In here we want to kill the enemy, so we're gonna go ahead and say set animator bool, this one, set animator bool of the zombie, and the animator bool is death, which we made in the previous video. So animator, this is the death, this is the idle animation, this is the condition. So whenever death is true, we are going to the, I'm gonna drag in the player so that we can see it. So we're going to doing the normal animation, and then bam, die. All right, so whenever this is true, so this is the condition that we just made, right? Cool. So we're gonna set this to true. There we go. Now there is no control for us to control the the health of the enemy. How do we reduce the health of the enemy and all that, right? So how do we do that? Well, we're gonna go ahead and add a new state on top over here, just like that, and we're gonna call we don't have to call it, we're gonna say float add. There we go. And we're gonna set it to health, so we're gonna add -1 into the health, which basically means we are subtracting 1 from the health. And then after executing this action, we're gonna say next frame event, which means after executing this action we are going to come in this state, just like that. All right, simple as that. But how do we come in this state? So we're gonna go ahead and add a new event. So go to the events, and I'm gonna say damage. There we go. And I'm gonna go ahead and check this sign, which means it is global event. Basically it means you can access or send this event from any FSM. All right, and we're gonna select this state 4, right click, global transition, the one that we just made, damage. So whenever we call the damage event, we're gonna go ahead and reduce 1 from the health, and then we're gonna compare it again. So we're gonna compare it. If it is equal to 0, we're gonna come in here and we're gonna simply die, or the zombie will actually die. Now how do we send the event of the damage? So we're gonna go to the player now and go to the firing FSM, and in the damage FSM, the state, damage state, we're gonna go ahead and what do we do? We come in here, go to the state 6, and we're gonna go ahead and say send event. The event that we want to send is to the FSM game object. The game object is the specify the game object to be the hit object that we just stored in here. All right, so the store hit object into the hit object that we just hit with the laser. We're gonna come in here, and the FSM name, let's see, what is the FSM name? Damage. Copy the FSM name of the zombie, paste it in here, and the event that we send is damage, this one that we just made, right? So let's see if it is working or not. How do we check it? We come to the zombie, we say edit, and we play the game and see if it comes to this state or not. All right, I hope you are understanding what we are doing right now. I hope so. So if I go ahead and shoot the enemy over here, as you can see, we go to the damage over here, if you are able to see it, for a short interval of time. But we are now stuck in this state. We are now stuck in this 6th state, but we just saw it is working. All right, so yeah, cheers. So of course we don't want to get stuck in this state 6. So but before we do anything, I want to go ahead and copy these 2 actions, which is for the muzzle flash and the emanation, and I'm gonna go ahead and simply paste them over here, simple as that, so that we have the emanation reducing and the muzzle flash doing this stuff. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna say next frame event, and I guess we can simply come out finished, and we're gonna come out here. In here we're gonna check whether or not we are pressing the mouse button or not. If we're not pressing the mouse button, then we're gonna say if we get mouse button up, which means when we release the mouse button, the left one that is for the firing, we're gonna go ahead and say simply finished, which means we are gonna come in this state in which we are not firing. Otherwise we're gonna go ahead and say next frame event. If you're not if we are still holding the the mouse button, which means we want to fire, we're gonna come in this state. Simple as that. So to clear the confusion, I'm gonna play the game and see if everything is properly working. So hopefully if I go ahead and fire the enemy once, I'm gonna go from state 1 to state 2 to state 3 to state 6 to state 3 and state 1 back. Just like that. Simple as that. Beautiful. But if I keep on pressing it, I'm gonna come back and switch between these two until I have the emanation 0. I'm gonna reload it again and I'm gonna come back to the state 1 and bam, everything is properly working. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Good. So one thing that I just forgot to do is that if we come in here and we compare the tag, if it is game object, if we hit the head of the enemy, if we hit the body of the enemy, if we don't hit these two things, then what do? Then we come back, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and say next frame event. So if these two conditions are not met, it means we have not hit the enemy, so we have to come out. So I'm gonna say finished, and this time I'm gonna finish in here, which means we're gonna still check whether or not we are pressing the mouse button or not. If we are not, we're gonna come in this state. If we are, we're gonna keep on firing. Simple as that. So not big deal, right? I hope you are understanding what is happening over here. So the damage is taken care of. Now if I go to the zombie and go to the damage, now of course we will be needing some damage animation. I already have downloaded one. I'm gonna close this for now and go to the animations, and if I come to the zombie reaction hit, this one, all right, so this is the damage hit reaction kind of an animation. You can of course find this in mixamo.com. so I just downloaded it. I went to do the rig, I set this to humanoid, and I went to the animation. Make sure it is bake into loop and bake into pose, all right, and I just simply hit OK, say hit apply, and then simply go ahead and drag this inside of the animator controller of the zombie, and I'm gonna rename this to hit. Here we go. And we're gonna go from idle to hit and from hit to idle back, on the condition that whenever the bool hit is true. So whenever hit is true, we're gonna come in here, and after completing this animation, make sure this hazard time is false in this one, and after completing this whole animation, we're gonna come back to the idle. Simple as that. All right. Or if I'm gonna go ahead and make another transition from hit to die, if die is true, death is true, we're gonna come in this state without completing this animation. Right. So now we're gonna go back to the zombie, go to the damage, and in the damage state, this is the state in which we get damage for the zombie. We're gonna go ahead and say set animator bool. Oops, set animator bool, sorry, not send event. There we go. And I'm gonna go ahead and say, oops, there's no one, so I'm gonna go ahead and say hit is true. There we go, value, bam, and I'm gonna copy that, come in this state, and make sure it is not true when we are in the idle one. All right. Okay, one thing you have to do is you have to, instead of say next frame event, you have to say wait for 2 seconds, 0.2 seconds, 0.2 seconds, and then come back over here. Otherwise it will just immediately, in 1 second it will be true, and in the other second it will be false, so he will not do the animation properly. All right, go to the variables, go to the health one, and make sure it is set to inspector, so that we can see, if we go to the controls, we can see the health variable right over here. All right, so that we can see what is the health of the zombie, if it is reducing or not, and all that stuff of the enemy. I'm gonna come over here and try to shoot the enemy on the body. So if I shoot it, as you can see, he does that animation, and now the health is 4, now the health is 3, now the health is 2, and now the health is bam, and then he dies. As you can see, of course he dies in there, but he dies with the health -1. But of course -1 does not matters because he dies first. So everything is properly working. Good. Now the body is working properly. Now we need to go ahead and kill him with the head, so the head thing. So go to the fire, and when we hit him on the head, we come in this state. So this state is blank basically. Let's say copy all of these from the body one. So this is the body, this is the head, right? Paste them in here, and instead of damage, I'm gonna go to the zombie again, go to the events, and I'm gonna add an event die, immediate death, and also yeah, make sure it is this one true, and I'm gonna select the state 3 and go to the global transition die. So this, in this state, of course, we are setting this to true, setting the death where that's basically he's dying in this state, right? So global transition death over here, go to the player, go to the fire, and in here, instead of the damage, we're gonna go ahead and say die. Simple as that. And we're gonna say next frame event and finished, come in this state back again and do the same thing, right? Good. Now if we play the game, he basically should die when we shoot him on the head. All right, so let's see if it's properly working or not. So shoot him on the head, shoot him on the head, shoot him on the head. Okay. Son of a bitch. Well, it's not working. Why? Let me just quickly show you guys why. Let me just quickly tell you guys why, because I won't be able to show you guys, I guess. We go to the fire, or let me just quickly show you guys. If I go to the hit object and set it to inspector so that we can see what we are hitting, and in the, yeah, of course, in the controls we have now the hit object and we can see what we are hitting, right? I'm gonna duplicate the zombies. So there are 2 zombies now. Okay, run over here and I play the game, and you just have to see what we are hitting in this hit object over here, right? Right now it is empty, so we are not basically hitting anything. If I hit the zombie on the body, you will see we hit the zombie. But if I hit it on the head over here, just like that, you can see we hit it on the head. Now what is happening is it is working properly, but what we're doing is we are trying to say that we have to send the FSM event. The FSM name is damage, and we want to send the event die. However, there is no FSM on the head. This is the problem, right? So we basically don't want to send the event from the head. We want to send the event all the way on the top, the actual parent, the zombie. So what do we do now? Well, luckily there is an action on the playmaker. So if I go over here and say get root, this is the action. So we get the root of the game object. I'm gonna drag this all the way on the top, and we're gonna say specify the game object to be the hit object, and we're gonna go ahead and say the root will be the zombie. There we go. All right, so hit object will be the head, and the root will be the zombie. So it is automatically gonna come from here, and it's automatically come from here. So we are getting the hit object. This is the hit object, and this will be the zombie. All right, good, clear. And now instead of the hit object, we're gonna use the zombie. Everything will be good to go now. So if I play the game now, or if I come over here and come out of the game view quick, go to the variables and select the player, go to the fire, go to the variables and select the zombie, and make sure it is also in the inspector so that we can see what we are hitting and what we are not hitting. Now when we play the game, we should be able to do better. So if I hit the zombie on the head, you will see we can kill it. So the hit object is the head and the zombie is the zombie, right? So we're getting the root, and now we can simply kill him by the headshot. Bam, there we go. Simple as that. Really cool. So basically what we have just made is we have made the damage system for the zombie. Now we can kill him 5 times. We can shoot him 5 times on his body to kill him. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. He dies like that. And also we can kill him on the head. Bam, just like that. So of course it is not really good without seeing the health of the enemy. So we cannot of course see the health of the enemy, that how much damage he has and how much health he has got. So we can see how much bullets we have to shoot him, and all that. So in the next video we will learn how to make a health bar on top of this zombie, so whenever we shoot him we can see how much health he has, and yeah, there will be health reduction, and when he dies, right? So we will add a health bar on top of each of these guys. And of course in the future videos we also will have these guys chasing us, and they will damage us, and there will be a health bar of us, and of course we will improve the UI and all that. So yeah, if you have liked this video, make sure you subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss any future videos. Make sure you click that bell icon so that you get notified whenever I upload any tutorial video, and make sure you see the next videos, because They will be also pretty important to make the survival shooter game. So that will be it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next video. Peace out.